All right, I would like to welcome everyone back for a KevCAM night class tonight. Tonight, don't have anybody helping out, so it's just going to be me, myself, and I. So if you guys have questions, definitely put that into the questions panel so I can get those addressed for you guys right away. And I do see a lot of new names in here, so I'll kind of go through how we do these night classes. These night classes are solely dedicated for you guys, so if you guys do have ideas, we definitely welcome those ideas. And send those over to me via email. And for those of you guys that don't have my email, give me 1 second here, and I will put it into the chat for you. And there we go. So everybody should see my email address in there. So if you guys do have suggestions on what you guys would like to see or what you guys would like to know in the night class, please let me know and send me an email. As well as every night class is being recorded for you guys. So if you do want to rewatch anything or rerun anything, you can go to the SolidCAM University here, and all the night classes are all on here, plus tip of the days. And Mark has actually been doing a really great job of creating about a 3 to 5 minute long short little videos for you guys as well. So a lot of different content in here, and there's getting to be quite a few videos. So if you're looking for something, go to SolidCAM University and click the search icon inside the channel. And with that being said too, everybody is in mute. So if you guys do have questions, definitely feel free to type those into the questions panel. And then lastly is we do have a couple sponsors, but one that I keep forgetting to add on here is actually Decade Minimalist, and they're actually one of our customers. And if you guys are looking for a great wallet, these things are amazing. Use them myself, and a couple of our guys on our team use them as well, and we absolutely love them. So, all right. With that being said, we'll get the ball rolling here. So tonight we are going to be covering profile. Now, as simple as it may seem, there's actually quite a bit of stuff inside the profile operation that you guys can do. So what I'd like to do is show you guys a couple of the settings that you can turn on before we even start the profile. So if we come to our settings, and I will go down to geometry, right here is your milling. This is all for all your geometries right here. Now, me personally, when I like to click on a chain, I like to just do the one line, but you guys can set it up as default so it automatically goes around your part. By default, these are turned on for you. So if you guys like it or don't like it, you can turn it on or off. But one thing I really like to do in here is the new smart face detection. You can actually use this for profile now. So this is a great feature, and basically all you have to do is click on a face, and it will automatically chain your part for you as well. So, and like I said, right in here, if you guys don't like the automatic where it tries to wrap around, or the tangent propagation where it would go up and down automatically, these are just your default values right here. So you guys can turn these on at any one point in time. So we'll say OK to that. And now what we'll get into here is the profiling of a part. So I'm going to pull up a project here. Now, one thing before we get too far in this operation, what I would like you guys to do is go up to, when you get to work or even now, go up to your help menu and check out your About SolidCAM. If you guys are running SP2, HF2, or HF3, definitely go to the website and download HF4. A lot of new improvements that development has added in there, as long as feature requests and some fixes as well. So if you guys are running SP2, HF2, or HF3, definitely go to the website and download that. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of the profile operation. But first and foremost, we always want to do a setup. So if I go to my setup here, and you'll see I don't have a fixture right now. So what I'm going to do is add a new fixture, and I'm going to call this this vise here as my fixture. So all we have to do is just click on the components. We'll hit the green check mark, and now we have our fixture in there. Now, how that fixture is placed, this is more for the machine sim than anything here, but what I can do is click this little icon, and it will actually show my machine sim. So you actually see the Z0 right here is from the Z0 of my coordinate system. So if I can just move this off for a second, and what I'll do is I'll just get a quick measurement, which is, evaluate here, measure. So we have a measurement of we'll just say 4.5. So now you push that down just a little bit too far here. One second here, I just got to find it in my, I completely lost it in my toolbar. Give me 1 second here. So what I can do is come in here and change that to the 5.5. And then I can hit OK. And let's populate the picture here. So you can see my vise is actually sitting a little too high right now. So I can actually come here and just use my center mouse wheel, and we're just getting something that's close. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but you'll see that my vise is actually sitting on my 5-axis a little bit off. So what I can do is just compensate that for my Y, and I'll center up my vise here. So this way, when we go to play it through in our Solid Verify or our machine sim, everything is all centered up for us. Okay, so we got our setup all set up, is all set now. So what we can do is we can start our 2.5D profiling. So you can, a couple different ways to start a new profile. You can do it right from the ribbon up here, and we can do profile. Or you can right click and say add milling operation and do profile that way. So what we'll do is just do a profile. Now, what I was telling you guys about with the geometry. So as I want to add new geometry here, I can come in here and I can click this line, and it will just add the one line. Now, if I had my constant Z turned on, it would wrap it around. So if you'll see in here, I have a complete chain going all the way around. Now, along with the new smart face is if you have a flat face to click on, we can actually chain that as well. So if I just click on this face right here, it's going to chain everything that it can on this face for me. So I don't need these additional chains right now. So what I can do is just come up here and delete them. So yes to all. Another nice feature inside here is, let's say I grab this face, I got a bunch of different chains, but I want to reverse the direction. So you can reverse each individual chain, or I can reverse them all, which is a nice feature. So you guys can just highlight the ones that you want and do reverse or click F5. Now with profile, chain direction definitely does matter. So this is telling me that we're going to be doing a conventional or a climb cutting right here, working our way around. Now, like I was saying, you do have the tangent propagation. The two that I use a lot in here, and this is not so much just for profile, this is just your geometry picking, are going to be curve and actually point to point. So if I'm missing a point, and I'll just do it with, turn off our constant Z here. If I want to chain from here over to here, I don't have any physical geometry when I'm trying to grab this. So what I can do is two different options. I can actually go down and go over and then come back up, or what I can do is I can do my point to point, and I can just click where I want that point to end for me, and it will automatically just create a line geometry there for you. So if you guys are missing any geometry or have an open area, there's no need to draw a sketch in there. You guys can just do the point to point and it will actually skip it right over it for you. So one other thing I would like to show you here is what I'm going to do is let's do a part number. So I'm just going to do a sketch here, and we'll just say SolidCAM is our part number. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch it over to DPS Shrift, and we can make it a little bit bigger here. I'm going to do 0.375, and you can see my text right there. So let's just pretend that's my part number. So inside the profile operation, we can actually use that geometry as well. So inside SolidCAM, you do have the option to do a engraving, which we can use this for, or we can also do profile. So to grab the geometry for an actual text, what I can do is click on multi-chain, and I can switch it over to text. And all I have to do is just click on my text, hit the green check mark, and it will automatically chain everything for me. And give me 1 second here. I see you got Steve in here. So it will automatically chain all that geometry for me. So a lot of different options on chaining, and not so much just profile, but we can actually use this for profile, pocketing, pretty much every operation in here. So let me just go ahead and just decline that for a second. So we'll just say we want to do our inside pocket like we were originally doing, and we'll do our constant Z. And now we want to machine out that center. So that's one way of grabbing geometry, is clicking the new geometry. One thing you can do, or one thing that SolidCAM does for you, is it stores all the geometries behind the scenes for you. So if I want to use the same contour again for a different operation, all I have to do is hit the drop down box right here, and I can see all the different contours or pocketing or all the different geometries I've created. Another nice thing is you can do a show, and it will show you your physical geometry. Or what I like to do is click this button right here, and if I have a whole bunch of geometries, I can come over here and click on the one that I'm looking for, and it will highlight it. So I can hit the green check mark at that point. Now, with another way of doing a geometry selection is the profile silhouette. So basically all this does is takes a picture of the outside, and it will automatically create the geometry for us. So if I did silhouette, it would automatically create this outside boundary for us and get that geometry, so I won't have to chain anything. All right, moving forward here. Tool, pretty simple and easy. We can go ahead and grab a tool. This one is a 1/4 inch end mill, and if I want, I can put 0.25 email, and let's go ahead and throw a holder on there. I apologize here. It takes a little bit because I have so many different holders in here. Steve, are you with us now?
Just going to say, sorry, I'll apologize too. I'm a little late, Kevin. Sorry about that.
All good. All right, so I'll use a 1/4 inch end mill holder here with a 2 1/4 shank or extension. And if I want to see what that tool is looking like, I can click over here. And obviously, in the real world, I have my tool hanging out, or my total tool length is 3 inches. My outside holder, that means I'm only hanging on by 1/2 inch, so that's really not realistic at all. Let's just do 2. Actually, let's do 1.5. Shank down on that tool. And if we want, we can add coolant at this time as well. So not much here in the tool page. Now you can come in here and set different feeds and speeds. Excuse me. You'll see in here I have a feed rate of 1 for everything. This is just a safety factor for me. So if I forget to put a feed rate in here and I go to run this on the machine, when I go to run this on the machine, it's going to be running super slow. And this is all set up by default. So I know that I missed something with my feeds and speeds. So that's completely up to you guys. And this is just in your SolidCAM settings itself. We can set up independent coolant just for this tool. As well as, this one comes up quite a bit, is if we're limited on our Z travel or maybe our X and Y because of fixture, I can come in here and set up a custom location. So I can tell it the table to move over to this direction and then go up for the tool change to avoid any clearance issues or anything that I may have in the way. Now levels here, we got 2 different options. I can actually have multiple different, this is new, I think in 2018. I can have multiple different profiles at different depths now. So since I only have this one chain, I'm only really worried about just the one. But if I have multiple different depths, I can come in here and do variable levels, and I can change my upper and my lower level for each chain, which is quite handy. This feature also works in pocketing, iron machining, all that good stuff too. So for this one, we just got the 1, so I can just leave it at the constant. And what I'm telling it to do here is I'm telling it to do the upper level is the top of the target. Well, I didn't face mill off my part, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say the top of the stock. And even though that's the same number here, if I had some additional stock up here, it would automatically compensate for it. Now the profile depth is all based off of where I chose my chain. So if I did a chain down here, it would populate the number. If I did a chain up here, it would populate the chain depth of this chain right here. Now, a lot of times we'll have to go in there and change it just because of our geometry options. So there is absolutely no need to click on the profile button anymore. If you guys just come in here and just get your mouse cursor, I can't even talk tonight, mouse cursor highlighted in the profile depth field, what we can do is I can actually just come over here and just click on the bottom of the part. And you'll see that it's green now. And some of you guys may show up as green, some may show up as red, but both colors are fine. As long as there's a color in there, what that means is it's physically linked itself to the model itself. So if this model was to grow or shrink in size, this number would automatically adjust for it. So for this particular one, if I go right down to the bottom of the part, we may get a little bit of a burr going around this outside perimeter. So what I can do is I can come in here and tell it just to go an additional 25 thou deeper. So I'm not going right on that tip of that end mill. So pretty cool feature right there. And like I said, there's no need to click the upper level button anymore. You can just come over here and just get your mouse cursor on there and click the top of the part. So any questions so far, guys? I don't see anything coming in here, but get a lot of quiet ones in here, Steve.
No, I'm monitoring the questions too, Kev, so we're good.
Perfect. Okay. This is kind of where the guts of everything is. And this doesn't matter. This is one thing I really love about SolidCAM is it doesn't matter if I am doing a profile operation or if I'm doing a pocket operation or drilling or thread milling, where all the guts of everything is always in the technology page. So starting up at the top, do I want to use my tool side left, center, right? Completely up to you guys. Now, since our chain direction is going that way, I want to keep it on left. Now, what I can do is I can actually click on the geometry button and I can completely change how this geometry is going. So what I can do is if I'm just doing a single line I can add an extension in here. So maybe if I'm just milling this line right here, and if I didn't have my fixture in the way, I wanted to extend it past to compensate for this area, I can do an extension right here. Or if I go a little bit farther down here, I can add a offset in here. So maybe I want to leave maybe 5 thou for grinding or a different finishing op. I can do that as well. Now, the start position is one I really like to use. Is basically, I don't want to start that end mill right in that corner. So what I can do is, if I just get my mouse cursor where the 0 is, and I can come in here and I can just click anywhere, and that will be my new start position. So this is really nice if you are trying to get an exact start position of your end mill where it's coming down. What I can do is I can just create a sketch point and smart dimension that sketch point and actually get that end mill to move wherever on that exact point itself. So really cool feature in there. Now in here is, so we're kind of start at the top here, the intersecting toolpath with geometry, or sorry, ignore toolpath with intersecting geometry. And what I want to do here, let me copy this, because I don't want to get too in depth with this one, but if I come over here, this is under the SolidCAM University channel. This video walks you through step by step of what that intersecting geometry does for you. So just basically, if you have two geometries intersecting, it'll kind of overlook it. But I'll put this link in the chat for everyone so you guys can have that as well. And it will be down below for you guys that are watching it on YouTube. So we have intersecting geometry. I can actually turn on compensation for my rough passes and for my finish passes. Now, if it's grayed out for you and you have roughing turned on, but this is still grayed out when you guys are looking at this, this is just a change that needs to be added to your post processor. So you can give us a call on the support line. We can get that turned on for you, or just turn a ticket in under the SolidCAM support under the post line, and they can get that turned on for you as well. So if you're not seeing the compensation on rough passes, or compensation on finish, or compensation on clear offset, let us know. So you do have that option. So right now, we told it that we want to machine out this pocket right here. And basically, it's going to be taking it all in one cut. So what I can do is I can tell it to do constant step downs. So right here, I'm telling it to do a 0.125 step down. Or if you're looking for a tight tolerance, or you really want to keep that end mill in contact with the material, you can do the helical feature. And what it will do is it will do a spiral working its way around. And I really like this feature just because that end mill is in constant contact with the material at all times. So with the step down at that point is for every, so we're starting right here, for every 360 degrees that we go around this pocket, it is going to go down an 1/8 inch here. So if we want, we can do, let's say 20 thou, and I'll kind of show you the difference. We'll do save and calculate. So you'll see right here, we're just, it's starting right here, arcing in and just doing a spiral, working its way, excuse me, all the way around. Let's make this just a hair bigger so we can see a little bit better. So you can see it stays in constant contact with the material going all the way around. Now, if we switch this over to constant, what it's doing is it will go around at 100 thou, make a pass, and then arc off, and then go down another 100 thou, arc in, make a pass, go all the way around. So completely up to you guys on how you want to handle that. And basically what's going on here is we're telling it to do a roughing pass, doing 100 thou step downs, and we want to do one finish pass. Well, I'm sorry. So we want to do 100 thou step downs here, leaving 5 thou on the wall, and that 5 thou on the wall will get cleaned up by this one finish pass right here. So let me just do a top-down view for you. and we'll zoom in here. So here's our lines. So this is our roughing pass right here. And then that last pass it's doing is taking that additional 5 thou of material off there. So if you're really looking for a tight tolerance in there, definitely use a roughing and finishing. You can change this number to whatever you'd like. By default, though, it will show 5 thou on the wall for you. I'll zoom back out here. And we also have the option if we want to do one way or zigzag. The zigzag would just come in factor if we were doing just a single line geometry. This zigzag does come in very handy if you're doing a slot, so like a 1/4 inch slot with a 1/4 inch end mill. We can tell it to do a zigzag, and it will do just basically working its way down into the material at 100 thou. Now, rest material here, let's just go ahead and play this through here. And we won't worry about the machine sim for this second here. We'll go to Solid Verify. All right. So if we go ahead and play this through here, speed this up. So if we go into the corner here, do execute, we still have material left over. And this is our stock target comparison. So using that 1/4 inch end mill, I'm not able to get everything in that corner right now. So what I can do is come over here. It hops out of here. And I can make a copy of this. So if I do save and copy, and it makes a mirror copy of what I just previously did. But now what I can do is I can change it over to rest material. My previous tool diameter, I can't remember. So I can come in here, 1/4 inch end mill, just click on that end mill. And now all I have to do is switch this over to a smaller tool. And then what it will do is it will come and clean up those corners that were left over. So let's just do one. We'll do 625. Now, all I have to do is save and calculate. And you'll see all it's machining is just those corners that got left over from the previous tool. So that rest material is a great feature in here. So we're not having to basically recut the entire part with this little itty bitty end mill just to clean out those corners. So if we go ahead and do our simulate here, play that through. And now you'll see we're nice yellow going all the way through. So we know that we've achieved our goal of machining that part up to size. So that is rest material. Now, using the fillet for last cut, what this option enables you to do is add a radius on any sharp corner. So if we are, zoom out here, if we are machining, well, this one's got radiuses on it, but if we're machining, let's say this edge right here and this edge, you'll see that we got a sharp corner on there. But maybe we want to radius it, so kind of as a deburring operation, what we can do is we can use the fillet for last cut, and we can specify what size radius we'd like for internal and external right here. Now coming over to the right side, we have the wall offset. Now this is what's being left on the roughing pass for the finisher to clean up, as well as the floor. Equal step downs is kind of self-explanatory, but what it's going to do is it's going to rough it down at 100 thou, and if I turn this on, it will equal out the step downs, so they're taking all even passes. So maybe that last pass, if we're doing 100 thou, and we have a 0.25 depth of cut, that last one won't just be a small little thin cut, so it'll actually equal out all of our step downs for us. Roughing, finishing. Now, a couple different options with finishing. We can tell it to do 2 passes. So if we're looking, or 3 or 4 or 5, however many you guys would like in there. to, if you're working on, you know, some harder material or a case harden, we can take a couple extra laps around. Now the extension overlap is quite nice because what we can do is, instead of starting, let me turn this toolpath on here. So you'll see, let's do this. So right here, we're starting and stopping at the exact same point every single time. So what I can do is I can put in a extension so it's starting at a different spot than where it's ending. So we don't get that little witness mark there. Now your step downs is basically, do you want to do that finish pass all in one cut, or we can do keep stepping down as well, as kind of like the roughing operation. External corners, we can do rounded, we can do sharp, we can also do loops. Now the clear offset is something that also gets used quite often. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is, as I'm clicking around, you'll notice that this picture or this dialog will change on whatever I'm clicking on. So if I go to step downs, it's kind of showing me a little representation of what it's looking for in this operation. So if I do a clear offset, what that's basically going to do is it's going to offset my geometry. So if I have a lot of material, if this was like a casting and I have a lot of material that I need to get out of there, what I can do is I can come in here and type in, you know, 0.25 of a offset, and I can tell it to step over every 100 thou. And let's just see if we can calculate this real quick. I did it on the wrong one. Let's get back to this one here. So I'll do 0.25, 0.1. Now, if we do a top-down view, what it's doing is it's offsetting my geometry by 1/4 inch, so right here, and it's doing all the same passes. Once it finishes that entire geometry, it's going to come up, come over the 100 thou that I told it, and do another pass. Same thing, keep moving over. So this is a great way if I have a lot of material on a geometry, I can actually offset it over for you. You can do this as one way or zigzag, and then the complete Z level. So if you're doing several different profiles, what it will do is it will do a complete level. Well, let's zoom out here. Let me turn this off, save and calculate. So what we can do is, if I am profiling out this profile here, and then I also have a profile over here, I can tell it to do complete Z level. So it will do all the roughing and finishing on this particular pocket before it comes over to this one over here. So nice feature. And then we can do sort by chains as well. Any questions on the technology page? All right, so also in the technology page here, we have what's called the advanced tab. Now in here, it all depends on what you're doing, but pretty much every operation that we have in the technology will have an advanced tab. So what I can do is I can do final cuts, and what this option enables you to do is to divide up the machine depth into 2 different regions, kind of like we were just talking about here. You can do a wall draft. So if I'm doing a very tall part or a 3D part even, I can chain that bottom, and I can also do a wall draft here, and I can tell it what angle I want, and if I want to start from the top and work my way down to the bottom, or if I want to start at the bottom and work my way up to the top. So you do have the wall draft option there. Tricoidal machining will do the little circles as it's going through. So I can tell it to use tricoidal turning. So as it's going along, it's doing basically circles. And so I can specify how big those circles are going to be, how close together I want those to be, and the actual engagement angle. And we'll really get into depth with the engagement angle once we hit iMachining, but there is the option there for you. Now, a really cool one is if you guys are slugging out parts, we have the plunging option. So let's say we have a pretty big slug here, excuse me, and I want to slug this out. Well, when we do a profile operation, we go around on that last pass. As it gets to about right here, that slug is just bouncing around like crazy, and as it's getting closer and closer, sometimes that slug will turn sideways in there and break our end mill. So you do have the option to do a plunging pattern, and it's basically a simple drill cycle. So it's going to go along that profile and do a bunch of drill cycles all the way through. So I can do a G81, do a G82 with a dwell, G83 with a peck. So a lot of different options for you there. Now in the data, I can tell it how much to peck per time. I have a lot of different pecking options in here along with dwells. So a lot of different options in here for you guys. All right, we hit OK on that, and I'll turn off the plunging here. So that's a nice feature if you guys are trying to rough out something quite large and you don't want to have to do where the end mill is going around. You can actually use a drill bit for that. Now, along with all of our operations, the link page is always going to handle your lead in and lead out. So this one, we're ramping into the material by using a feed rate. So as it's coming down, it's going to use the feed rate coming into the material. I do have the option to do different ones. I can do a rapid, I can do a diagonal, I can do a helical, or a vertical arc. So a lot of options to really customize for you guys. Now this one, you'll see that we're doing an arc in and an arc off. If I want, I can set different ones for each one. So if I want to do a normal for my arc off, so you can calculate here. So what we're doing is we're coming down here, we're arcing in the material, going around, and then it's just coming to that 90 degrees, move over, and then come back up. If I want to set that as the same, I can just do that same, and then I don't have to even worry about it. And like I said, keep an eye on these pictures over here. So if you're unsure, all right, well, the extension is what? So I can come over here and I can see there's my extension. How big of a radius do I want to do? And what arc angle do I want to approach from? Now, if we're doing profile, let me just take, so this is 221. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to start a new operation. And this is one I like to use for my tight tolerance bores. And I'll grab that little 16th in there. And upper level, we can start there. Profile depth. Go to the bottom here. And so here's what I really like to do with my tight tolerance is, and especially for circular holes, I can do a helical and I can tell it I want to do a 100th step down. Now in the link section, I want one pass at a step down of 100th thou. Now in my link section, what I would like to do is I want it to start from the center of my hole, just so I have enough clearance because it's pretty tight, small end mill, small hole. So what I can do now is I can tell it to start from the center of the circle geometry. So what it will do is it will automatically find that center of our circle for us and start in there. So if we do save and calculate here, do a normal 2, you'll see right as that end mill is coming in there, it's starting right at the center. And if I want, I can do the same as lead out. And now my end mill is coming down right on center for us. So nice feature to start in the center. Like I said, you guys have, the sky's the limit, and you guys can see that we're doing that nice helical entry going around. And that really works great for tight tolerance holes. All right, last thing I would like to cover with everyone is the fourth axis functionality. So in here, and if we're running a fourth axis, what I can do is I can actually get my fourth axis indexer to rotate around. So we have a couple different options in here, and I'm going to get really into this more a little bit later on, the polar versus Cartesian. But basically, what axes do I want to rotate around? If I do Cartesian, I want to use my X and C, Y, C, and Z and C. Or you can do a polar with the same ones. So it's however you want your output to be. If I want to do it off of a face, or I can actually do it off of a diameter, and I can actually put the diameter of what I'm cutting in there. Now, another nice function, and we'll actually get into this, do save and copy here. When we're doing engraving on a fourth axis, what we can do is, if we click New Geometry, and we want to wrap that profile operation around a 4-axis part. So we basically want the profile or the tool to come down, and we want to use the indexer as a lathe. So what I can do is, instead of my geometry being flat, what I can do is I can use this wrap functionality, and you can pick what axes you want to wrap around. Now, most commonly is on a fourth axis is going to be around the X, but we do have Y and Z. And then you guys can grab your geometry. So, whew. Am I missing anything, Steve?
I think you're doing well. Fast, but well. A lot of info.
Yeah, there's a lot of info in here. And like I said, as being as simple as a profile operation is, there is a lot in here. And the only reason there is a lot in here is because we don't want to take any control away from you guys as the users. So we want to give you as absolute much control as possible to get what you're done, get the part machined what you're looking for. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover is the miscellaneous parameters. Now, inside the miscellaneous parameters, I can type a custom message that will automatically output with my G code. But more importantly, if each one of your guys' posts are going to be different. So some may show like a M00 stop in here. These are fully customizable along with your post processor. So if you're looking to add a additional string of G code in there, that's hard coded in with the post, then you can come in here and see it. So some of you guys may see a big list in here. I'm actually running this on a Haas UMC 750, so very basic, simple. If you do have a lot in here, what we've noticed is it gets to be a lot of information trying to scroll through all this. So what you guys can do is click the flyout button, and this will open up a very large dialog so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so let's save and calculate here. Now, we want to see everything that we did. So I can come up here to simulate, and we will do a machine sim. And even though that this is a very standard 3-axis part, I really enjoy the machine sim just because I can see exactly what's going on. I know it costs a little bit extra, but that little bit extra is about the price of a end mill and a holder, so it's well worth every penny.
Can save you a little pain and suffering at the machine too, right,
Yeah,
Kev?
absolutely. So if I come in here and zoom in, I can see exactly what we're doing here. So it's doing the rest material now. And if I want in my machine sim, I can turn off my housing. So if I want to get really zoomed in and kind of see what's going on here, I got the entire machine right in here. Now you'll see that I forgot to put a holder on there, which you don't need to put a holder on any tool at all. That's just more or less for visualization for you. But it will, if your holder does run into the workpiece, the machine sim and HostCAD and Solid Verify will tell you that you're crashing. So it will give you that prompt. So that's what our part looks like, all finished, done. Turn the entire machine back on. You can kind of see this is what the Haas UMC looks like, but that is basically profiling the ins and outs of everything inside profiling for you guys. So.
Well, and I think, Kevin, you covered a lot of information, but you're going to put this up on the website, right? So anybody can go back, and if there's a specific application, you can go back, review this, and pick out what best fits your needs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or my email address, everybody should have my email address in here. If you guys don't, it is in the chat window. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, my email address is in the description of the video below. So feel free to shoot me an email or give us a call. We're here to help you guys out in any way possible. So.
Any questions? Nothing's coming in, Kevin. Pretty quiet group today. Or tonight.
Yeah. See a lot of new names in here, which is great to see. And like I said at the beginning, everyone, we definitely want your guys' ideas. Like I said, these classes are just for you guys as training purposes. This is Steve and I going above and beyond to help you guys out in any way possible to get you guys up to speed as much as possible. So like I said, if you guys do have ideas, send those over to me via email. We'll send you some SolidCAM swag as a thank you for sending those ideas, and we'll get those implemented in right away for you. Well, I did see a hand up there for a second. Yeah, Jerry or John, one of them had a hand up, but all right, I don't see any questions, so I will end it off there. Just want to thank you guys more than anything for attending the night class. We've got a lot of new people in here, which is great to see. Next week, we are going to be covering Contour 3D. If you don't know how to register for the night class, and you just got it in the email, but you would like to register, you can go to the solidcam.com, come under webinars, and click on KevCAM night class. Now, one thing, if you are under a different country name, the night class option won't pop up for you. So it's only going to show up under the American flag one. So just go to webinars, click on the night class, and you can get signed up for the next night class, which is Contour 3D. So, all right. Well, like I said, just want to thank everyone for attending the night class tonight, and any questions or concerns, let us know what we can do to help you guys out. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.